mt3. What's it going to be? e4. We can do e4, e5, I guess. Play one of the classics, the Scotch game. The Scotch gambit. I like to kind of decline the Scotch gambit. Set up some early counterplay here. I don't think I want to do that just yet. Let's bring the knight out, attack this pawn. That's kind of the point of this move, is to stop that e-pawn from coming forward so I can attack it. Yeah, he decides to take anyway. Yeah, it's an interesting question whether I can afford to take that pawn. Shall we find out? I was thinking maybe I could play something like that to defend it and attack his bishop at the same time. That pawn in the center is also a bit strong. Yeah, so you castles, so let's get this move in. Then after that we're going to unpin by putting the bishop here. And yeah, if he wants to win a pawn back, that is something that is acceptable. Normally they reposition the bishop here. Okay, is he set up for... No, there's no Greek gift sacrifice because the queen and the bishop are controlling this square, so the knight can't come in with check after the sacrifice. So the knight goes there. So at this point he's just down a pawn. I don't see the compensation. Maybe he can sacrifice. So if I'm worried about the sacrifice, I could play this move. The sacrifice I was thinking of is this bishop sacrificing on h6. I take, he takes back with the queen. He's got queen and bishop there. It's a bit annoying. Okay. So now what? Now I think we chase his queen off of that location. So here unpins the pawn. So when he pushes, I will take, he will take. Yeah, he's got this threat to take here, or to push here. I take, he takes, and he takes with the rook. But he put the queen there. So no more threat. Yeah, I have a check here, but I don't see it doing anything. Let's just push these pawns. Yeah, he's going to continue the attack. Yeah, I will use the check to get my bishop out to a better square. So it looks like my opponent is just all offense and no defense. But well, now we've gotten rid of some of his. Gotten rid of some of his potential. So I have a majority of pawns over on the queen side. I should win with that. And this pawn is hanging. Just need to not get too overconfident and let him take my rook here. What's the best diagonal for it here? Or here to prevent his bishop from coming in. Takes control of this square and supports this pawn going forward. Yep, so I was going to ignore that and take a pawn. Why not? You know, I could have considered taking the other way and trying to checkmate him on the H file here. It's okay to trade in a situation like this. Okay for me, I mean, I've got extra pawns. When you're up pawns, you trade off the pieces and win with the extra pawns. Pretty usual, pretty good chance of winning when you have more than one pawn extra. You know, there are those draw-ish positions. Can't really move the bishop. Oh, we can move it with check. Okay. Score. Point. A point for you. I was getting incautious and overconfident. I didn't see that. But now he has to move his rook. Yep. And I'll just push this pawn. There we are in the ideal situation. So I've got two pieces attacking. Yeah, I think I start with this one. So I want to push pawn, pawn. Yeah, so he stops it immediately. So what to do here? I think I'll just defend. Then bring my king over. Wait for him to make a mistake like that. But he was winning even without a mistake. But I have to get my rook in front of the king to keep this pawn defended, and then I can walk my king in behind it. And I'll have enough force over here to win. Oh, looks like he's not going to be a good sport about this. You've got to move your king. Where can you move it to? You can go here, attack the pawn. You can go and the rook, or you can go here and attack the rook, or you can go back. He resigned. Okay, he was just looking for any way out, but there was no way out. So let's see if we can get another game here. Maybe a rapid game. Here we go. Let's try the Reti opening. Oh, look at that rating. 2206. Turbeos Creativos. I might be in trouble. Okay, I can play the Reti gambit. The Reti gambit declined. So I should take, right? Just go for the fianchetto anyway. I should slow down too, but I do kind of know the moves I want to play. The question is, in this configuration, what do I want to do with this bishop? I could be putting it here, or I could be moving this pawn forward and bringing it out along this diagonal. So if I castle, does he have anything? This knight coming in here might be a bit annoying. But not yet. It's not yet a problem. Doesn't have a light squared bishop, for example, trained on this square. This knight is a bit annoying, I have to admit, because I have to worry if I ever develop my knight, or when I develop my knight to that square, he might just take it off. But I want to wait and see what the rest of his setup looks like. So my setup is all pretty obvious. Okay, that's a way of discouraging me from moving my e-pawn. Let's not move the e-pawn. Let's just keep it there, and then fianchetto the bishop, as I was talking about. So bishop here, knight here, and rook over. And if he takes the knight, I can take back with the bishop and not have to worry about my pawn structure here. So he is thinking of castling queenside. It's a little bit risky, a bit of a risky decision in this situation. So this would be a good diagonal for my bishop if he decides to castle queenside. So let's keep that option open. Maybe my knight can go like so to so. So no, his idea wasn't about castling. It was about trading off my light squared bishop. Okay, so I'll put this dark squared bishop then, that diagonal then. And bring this knight out here or here. Here to here is interesting. Anyway, I don't have to worry about the e-pawn anymore. I can push that anytime. Kick this knight. There. He could go to this square. So that's another way of discouraging me from pushing the e-pawn. Pressure here. So I'm thinking of, well, I still want to put the rook on the open file. And I'm thinking of a knight here to here, maybe. Look at that. And he stops that. So I don't have anything on the light squares at the moment. But a queen here, the queen is on the light squares. It's just a few moves away from being able to do anything useful. Okay, but this knight is in a bit of a log jam situation, so let's clear this out. He's going to have to do something about those other pawns, yeah, because otherwise his dark squared bishop there is not going anywhere. Yeah, the bishop is defending this pawn. This is not under fire at the moment. Could bring this knight here to here. And then maybe think about hopping into this square. I wonder, I'm also thinking about pushing the h-pawn. Or would I be better off pushing the f-pawn? Push the f-pawn to try and bust up his center there a little bit. He's got this knight in a good square. Okay, I'll bring this out of the way. I could do it in 2 steps. I could push the e-pawn first and then push the f-pawn. Or the other way around. If I push the f-pawn first, he can't take with the knight because I'll take back, and that would be pretty dangerous. I know. I'm going to take this square away from his knight and move my queen over here. I am migrating my pieces away from my king. Let's see if he can find a way to exploit that. Maybe another way to evolve the pawn structure is e3, d4. I think in any case I want to get my queen off of the diagonal. So he decided he wants to relocate that knight. Aha. He does have a good square here. I would probably just take it. He takes back with the pawn. I would have to push this pawn forward maybe. Okay, if I put my knight on e4 and he pushes on f5, I can't jump to that square, can I? I'm closing this diagonal to my king. That's kind of a waiting move, actually. Still can't really push this e-pawn. The knight, it did give a square for the knight. And yeah, I'm just going to take that. And drop back with the queen. This is a sacrificial pawn here, it looks like. Potential sacrifice there. But, well, now I can push this with tempo and then push this. But he's gotten rid of He's gotten rid of my bishop, which was helping support up pawn push there. So where would a knight have to be to support a pawn push to that square? It would have to be here, or here, or here, or here. Hard to get to those squares. I guess this square here is the only one that's really accessible to me. How do I get there? Knight here to here. You might just trade it off. Here's an idea. Okay, he wants to go to that square. That's a pretty nasty, excuse me, here, let's erase the paint. If he gets to this square, it's a pretty nasty fork. So he's probably looking at kicking this knight. Which he can do, pushing this pawn. So that's the threat. Pushing that pawn is the threat. Kick his knight first. Where does knight go? It goes back. Or it goes here. I think I need to do something like that, though. Now, one advantage of having a pawn here is that this perch is a little more secure for my knight. Just goes back, yeah. So what to do? Well, put the knight here. Okay, is this on? Pawn here. Where does he go? Here, 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 here. So he has to go back to this square, or this square. And I can push this pawn, but he can just take it, I take, and then he can take even with the queen, either with the queen or the pawn. And he can take with the rook if I trade queens. So he would just get a solid extra pawn out of that. Okay, still looking for some kind of tactic here, looks like. What have I got? I need to keep this protected, and I need to keep this protected. If he kicks my knight, I can step back here. Let's shore up the pawns here. Oh, he takes it anyway. Yeah, okay, he's opening up my king side. That probably makes a lot of sense. Probably does. Oh, he takes with the knight. Oh, right. He gets the knight back to that good square. And there's this threat again. Oh. I still don't have a good way to counter that, do I? Well, queen there would protect that. Knight here to attack his knight. Knight here leaves this exposed to the attack from the queen. But also, I would be, excuse me, this knight went here. I would be attacking this pawn, and he would be attacking this one. Well, I've got to wait for his move, though. Can drop a knight in here, put a bishop in there. Yeah, this knight is pretty good, actually. So if I play knight here, and he grabs a pawn, I grab the knight and then grab a pawn myself. So he plays rook there. Yeah, I think I want to try and do something about that knight. And also, as I said, maybe take out this pawn, let him have this pawn. Knight's also looking here, here. If it's a rook, if he trades the knight, then the rook is looking here. If he doesn't trade, then the knight is looking there. But the queen is here. Yeah, this is dangerous. I think I see his idea. He wanted to take this knight and then bring the queen in here with check. Maybe. Yeah, I can take this knight. He can save his rook, and then I can put my knight back. Or he takes my knight, I'll take his rook. Actually, if he saves his rook, I will take this bishop with check. He may have made a mistake. Pretty tough game, I have to admit. Oh, he's getting clever. So he sacrifices the rook that way with check, so that now he can take the knight. But he had to lose the exchange for that, so he got a pawn for the exchange. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My pawns are kind of a mess. I will admit that. So light square. Okay, but I should first of all put the rook opposite his queen. First things first. Okay, he pins the self-pins the bishop. The bishop is also attacking my rook. How about pawn forward, though, attacking the pinned bishop? Can he move the queen with check? No, but he can move the queen and pin that pawn. And I can take with the rook. He can take, and the pawn is still pinned. Yeah, he was trying to tempt me into something. I'll not bite. I will take this pawn, given a chance. He's got bishop here check. Maybe that's his plan. So first he steps the queen aside. Now he's looking at this. So I take the pawn. He plays bishop here check. Not sure. I was worried about this. After the bishop check, you know, this pawn here is undefended. Oh, maybe he's still got a thing he can do here with the rook. I've got to run. I've got to run. Yeah, okay, so he can take there with the rook. I'll move my king. He can put his bishop there with check. So let's control this square. Yeah, I think he's got me. He can do the check. Oh, that I don't think was it. Oh, it was it. It was it because he's got the bishop there. Well, let's see what he's got here. I thought there was something with the bishop here and the rook here. This is good enough though, huh? This is good enough, right? I have no moves with the king. Can't go here, 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 or here. All I can do is take. And he's got this pawn. So is there any check? I can check here. Check here and grab. He's even defending this pawn. Okay, I think I'll resign here. Here, let's check my profile again just a second. I just wanted to point out I made it up to 2099. That might be my highest rating ever. Yeah, you can see in my history. 2099. Let's see, all time. What does all time look like? Yeah, there was something back here in the classical period, in 2029. Yeah, when they had the classical rating, they used to call it, and then they changed it to rapid rating, and they introduced a rapid rating in classical. I stopped playing classical because that was even longer than rapid. So yeah, this is an all-time high here. And where am I at? I'm still at 2093, so that's pretty good. Let's see, can you see that on the screen? Yeah, that shows up. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the game. I'll see you next time. Bye now.